Welcome back to Riley Everyday as we continue our countdown through the top 5 storylines in the Big 12. And checking in at number 2, how will Kevin Young fare in his second season? In year 1, the BYU frontman made the transition from the NBA to the college ranks look relatively seamless. And the only reason why I add that qualifier is because BYU didn't exactly come out of the gates guns a-blazing. Marquee wins in the non-con were tough to come by, and they began league play at just 6-6. However, following a demoralizing road loss to Cincinnati on February 8th, they flipped a switch. Young pushed all the right buttons, shortened his rotation, and got the best out of his team for the stretch run. The Cougars rattled off 8 straight wins to end the regular season, and they extended the streak to 9 with a victory over Iowa State in the conference tournament. They continued their solid play into the Big Dance, where they handled VCU and squeaked past Wisconsin, reaching the second weekend for the first time since 2011. And the emergence of Richie Saunders greatly aided the Cougars' surge as he averaged 19 points and 5 boards over their final 13 contests. The 6'5 senior is one of the best off guards in the country. He's an excellent cutter with exceptional touch around the basket, and he's an absolute assassin off the catch. Last season, he knocked down 43% of his triples, including 48% on corner threes. Now, his return alone would be enough to spur BYU into the conversation for Big 12 contention, but it's not just him. Starting 5-man Keba Keita also returns, and he's one of the best glue guys out there. He plays with this relentless motor on the glass, where he just has this knack for coming down with loose balls, and he's an emphatic shot blocker. You see his athleticism, his wingspan on display. They cover up for his relative lack of height. Oh, and I bring up both those guys before I even mention AJ Dybantsa. The 6'9 wing is a superstar in the making. He's been a consensus top 2 recruit his entire prep school career, thanks to his shot creation, his athleticism, and his tendency to shine when the lights are the brightest. Now, this transcendent reputation has followed AJ for at least 2 years. I always go back to Peach Jam 2023 as the inflection point. Playing up a level, he led the 17s in scoring, and now he takes that to Provo. Assuming that Young can figure out the roles between him and Saunders, AJ should roll out of bed with 17 to 18 points per game. But it doesn't end with Dybantsa. Young also shored up the backcourt with Baylor transfer Rob Wright and Southern Illinois transfer Kennard Davis Jr. Now, Wright was possibly the best point guard available in the portal. He has incredible handles, he's so quick, and he has this great acceleration, and he stops on a dime and decelerates, making it look so effortless. Plus, he was 10th in the Big 12 last season in assist rate, displaying that floor general archetype. Then Davis is a 6'6", 215-pound wing with a good, strong build. He can knock down threes and go get you a bucket, but perhaps more importantly, he'll contribute on the defensive end. I actually think his career trajectory could follow that of another Southern Illinois transfer. I'm talking about Lance Jones. If you remember his role on that Purdue team 2 years ago that made the national title game, is that 3-and-D skill set that was so integral to their play all season. Davis could do something like that for this BYU team, plus his nickname is Moo. It's tough to not buy into a guy who goes by Moo. So let's talk about the season outlook and where BYU might actually improve. I think the offensive side of the ball is going to be really fascinating to follow because the numbers were so good last season. They were 9th in the country in offensive efficiency. BYU was super effective at getting to the rim and creating easy shots, and then they knocked down the 3 at an especially effective clip. So you could look at that and say, can they actually build upon that? That's a high mark to reach. Then you think about the upgrades. I believe a sophomore Rob Wright should at least be more consistent than a freshman Yegor Dimon. AJ Dybantsa is a clear offensive upgrade over Mawot Mag, and while Davis isn't the shooter that Trevin Knell was, I think he can be more versatile. I really look at this team and think a top 5 offense should be the expectation, and they could climb as high as number 1. Now, defense is where the real improvements need to take place because they were absolutely gashed from beyond the arc last season. Too often there were miscommunications that led to open triples, or they struggled to get over screens that led to shooters just teeing off the bounce, or they wouldn't be able to keep their man in front of them, giving up drive and kick opportunities. So again, this is where you look at a guy like Davis and you think, can he set the tone? Can he be the guy who everybody follows? I think AJ can guard as well, and maybe Rob Wright makes some strides on that end too. But this is where Young really will show his merit as a coach, because this roster is good enough to get to a Final Four. The talent is not the question. It's just a matter of, can they lock down those fundamentals, clean up some areas here and there to really maximize their potential.